such as themselves. Can they find a win here against Order, a team that, of course, hasn't actually done all that bad here in APAC South. It's more so elsewhere that they've had some issues, and maybe they can continue their somewhat decent form here in APAC South and find a win against the Knights.
Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned about Order's form in this map heading in. We did see them beat Rhythm 7-4 in OCN, but honestly, that was a little bit of an unconvincing victory, and Bailey from Order was actually producing some really great clutch moments, helping to scathe away overtime in that matchup. And despite this being the most banned map for the Knights, you know, they don't look horrible here, or despite their win-loss record not being great. So, I don't know, a little bit of a scrappy matchup to probably expect here. Flores Thatcher off the board first, pretty expected here for some of those strongholds. Going to be a little bit more challenging to clear. Now, being Chalet, we'd probably expect that to be followed up with a projectile denial ban, Wamai or Jaeger. Wamai on this occasion. And then that frees up the final ban to be a little bit experimental for the Knights.
Well, this is why you don't always just look at the numbers, right? Manic likes to go on about that I just read the numbers, but if you actually go a little bit deeper and you have a look into the numbers themselves, as we see the Clash get banned out, that's a bit of a target there onto Order. The last time the Knights won on Chalet was the 18th of March, 7-4 over Elevate, which I don't actually know which Elevate that was at the time, but I'm assuming that might have been the old Chiefs? I don't even know. Anyway, listen, the point is they haven't won it since the 18th of March, Gus. Does that hold concerns a little bit here? Order, of course, themselves, they haven't played it a lot a while ago, but as of recent, in fact, in just September alone, they've now played it twice. So they've got a little bit more time on it, and they just beat Rhythm, actually, in the Oceanic National 7-4 in a game that Rhythm was expected to win. So I think coming into Chalet, Order might have a bit of an ace up the sleeve.
They haven't picked Ace in this round. They've gone Habana Maverick Hard Breach combo.
Wow. That was cringe, but continue on.
Well, we will go top 4 here in round number 1. The Knights bringing Thunderbird actually into the server, which is pretty interesting, alongside, in fact, the Tachanka as well, an interesting pick. Can only assume that's being used to area deny some of those key positions, maybe trying to deny that default plant in towards the office bomb site. And then Thunderbird, of course, can place those Kona stations around and fortify some of those strongholds. You've got Half Wall, Piano, Solarium, Bathroom. I mean, the list is pretty extensive here on the top 4, so I'm keen to see just how the Knights elect to set up.
Defense first for the Knights. Order on the attack. Probably some decent expectations on them to do well here, Chalet, attacking-wise. And obviously for Master Office, it's a site we actually probably don't see as much as I would usually expect. We obviously see Bar Games a lot, Kitchen, for example. We don't see too much Snow Wine either. So Master Office probably like sort of third in line, I guess. To see it first up, though, is going to be interesting to see how Order are going to attack this. You're imagining they're going to want to get a lot of control over towards Solarium. Josh down below, of course, a very pivotal position. Juicy on the Tachanka, though, that's going to be intriguing to see how that plays out. I think combined with the Thunderbird does kind of emphasize a very on-site kind of defensive hold here for the Knights.
Now, I think that is still Josh down below being droned out. It is now inside of Kitchen prone. Drones from Order to follow that up. I think they're looking to get aggressive here, try and nullify that Kaid's position down below. One less Nitro cell to deal with when you get site control will always be useful.
Yeah, this is just going to go straight in, combo with the E1D and that Adrenal Surge sprays in. He actually ends up doing all right. He does take a big amount of damage as well. That Adrenal Surge really helping out. Josh, a very aggressive position inside the Kitchen, knowing that he's getting droned and pressured. Bailey ends up winning that fight eventually, but boy, it took them a lot of time. There's a trade back elsewhere, though, through Sage onto Specker. So no more EE1Ds available, and only one more Adrenal Surge for Bailey. So in terms of this rush and push availability for Order, it is going to be dwindled in terms of utility. Hayward down below. That Nitro Cell misses, though.
Yeah, good back there from Sage to find the pick, and then having the presence of mind to fall back. He could rotate back towards the southern side of the map. No one from Order contesting that side. Instead, it will likely be a full solar take here. That means that Dino is going to be under the pump pretty soon. He's playing inside of Bathroom. No one directly inside of Solar. That position fortified, or forfeited rather, as Nate will claim it. But here's actually the Tachanka coming into play. The Shamika launcher able to deny that entry for Order, wasting a lot of time. But Bailey drops Juicy with a nade.
Well, that's one way to take out the Tachanka and allow that trophy stairs position now to be really held by Order quite easily. Jack that on that window as well. Looking into bedroom. Suddenly Order have actually kind of got the site surrounded, and they've also got that one-man advantage. Hayward's very low. This is a very winnable round now for Order with 40 seconds remaining.
Just going to be mindful of the entry here. Jack Daddy does find one to alleviate a bit of pressure, and there we go. Dino, he had to make the hero play work, and he doesn't. Sage finds one, narrowly misses the second on the entry. That's Nate going for the plant.
And Nico, though, covering very effectively, and Order takes site very effectively as well. Really well played in the end from Order, and using the combination of the Lion and the Finker to, of course, get in on site, clear out that player inside a kitchen nice and early on into the round. Very effective, and Knights just ended up not really being able to offer a sort of counterpunch to that. We saw the Tachanka really denying Trophy Stairs for a little bit of time, but one Bailey nade shuts him out, and as soon as the Tachanka actually goes down, the site just falls with him.
Yeah, really well played there by Bailey. The Finker was great on the entry, and then that follow-up nade, as you explained, really impactful in that round. And it was the Bailey show last time Order played and won this map. Again, that Rhythm result 7-4 only a couple of days ago in the Oceanic Nationals. He was by far and away the standout player. He was absolutely popping off, particularly in the defense. His clutch ability was great. Actually, it was on both the attack and defense, really, where he did clutch up. So expect him to continue to have an impact in this matchup. Knights, in response, need to find a way to shut him down.
Yeah, and I'm a little surprised to see Knights sort of repeating Master Office here just a wee bit, simply because we tend to see bar games from the defenders as one of the sites that has a little bit more contention. Even, you know, Kitchen, for example, and that extension up above into Master Office is usually quite favorable. But nonetheless, Knight's going to be repeating. And honestly speaking, as long as they can hold this Kitchen position for a little bit longer, maybe even find a kill or two early on into the round. And I think then their setup should be able to do the rest, especially with Juicy on that Tachanka, which was working out to deny top of Trophy Stairs and making it a little bit harder to get that Solarium control. We'll see if they are going to be effective with it. If they lose this round, though, and Order go 2-0 up, they will probably shift over to bar games.
Now, it looks like Order, with the diffuser in the hands of Nate, are already shaping up their attacking setup. Last time, again, they cleared out Kitchen, took Trophy up in towards Solar, and they were able to attempt that plant. This time, though, spawning out to the west, looking to go for Library across. That changes up where these attackers are going to be pushing from. Knights, though, they're, you know, ready and waiting. Jack Daddy inside of Mud, cutting out rotations. Dino, though, he is the key player on the Thunderbird inside of Library.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing about Master Office here for the attacking team is there's two sides you can really come from. And here's Dino from inside a Library looking down that hatch, is able to get the kill onto Specker. So that's a Lion taken off the board, but I was going to sort of insinuate here is that you can go for that office plant at the half wall, really try and open up that office wall on the mezzanine and go for that sort of play instead, even though it's the same sort of site. You're coming in from the entirely different side. So Order seemingly coming in with that approach here, and Dino's position at the mezzanine and inside a Library, so important to this round and to denying Order from taking this approach.
Yeah, he has been drained out, Order holding his rotation, so it's up to someone to send it forward and get the kill. Dino with the head glitch on the stairs, looking to do a lot of work. Oh, the timing is unfortunate. Being droned out as well to his right, shoots that drone out. Nate doesn't follow it up, eventually will. Finds that kill, and evens out the main count, and the hard breach will stay alive.
Yeah, a little bit messy here, considering that they had the drones there onto Dino's position, but alas, it took them a while. And honestly, Baby should have even found that kill onto Nate, and had he done so, that's probably the round over. Now makes it a 4 versus 4. In order to establish that mezzanine control, they can get to work on that office wall, still have both of their hard breaches available. Don't really need Specker anymore either. So this is actually, with a minute left to go, working out pretty well in Order's favor, and Knights need to disrupt this.
Nico will head over towards mezzanine and begin Maverick tricking the wall. Decent amount of time to work with, and it looks like it's been a clean effort thus far. It takes a little bit of damage. I can only assume from Juicy, forced back, but the wall's soft. He can open it up with a well-timed frag grenade. Clean work there from Nico. Under the pump a little bit with the time withering down. X-Kairos to follow up as they don't want to vault in towards the side, and Nico will create a secondary crouch entry in towards that half wall position. That's where Order will want to get that diffuser down, but unfortunately, it hasn't been dropped.
Yeah, unfortunately though for Order, this is a little bit too one-dimensional. Time really is now a pressing issue, and they can't really contest. And I think Juicy on the Tachanka, the beautiful thing with this position, he's able to really cover both sides, whether it's a solar push or a mezzanine push, he's able to deny it. I mean, imagine that, really, that half wall position, you just can't plant there with the fire, basically. And Josh will finish off the round. getting that elimination onto Bailey. Really well defended that time around by the Knights. I think Dino was the linchpin to start that one, and then the rest of the team was able to follow up in the final minute.
Yeah, Dino did a good job. Wasted enough time. Got to question a little bit. Specker vaulting in early there in towards games. I thought they knew Dino was there, and if you know Dino's on the hatch, you never vault in that window. So maybe a miscomm, or they just didn't drone him. Don't think we saw, or can't quite remember if that was the case. So that was a disappointing start for Order, and then it did begin to compound that pain. Took them a little bit of time to ascertain library control. Once they managed that, Nico did a really good job on the Maverick, in fact, opening up the wall. But with so little time left, it only made Juice's impact even larger. He is playing a really strong role there on the Tachanka. I am honestly yet to see solid play with the Shamika launcher in competitive, but he made a very compelling case there as to why Tachanka really can be a great smoke substitute.
Interesting lineup here for the Knights. Okay. So obviously, if Bar Games, they're going to want to extend above, but they've only got... So they've actually got both deployable shields, so they'll pretty much go for a stock standard lineup, but they've got a decent amount of sort of info gathering, like the Mozzie on with the drones, obviously Legion with the goo mines, and then Valk cams as well available. And I love, obviously, Frost on this particular side as well. Some pretty big windows that actually hold some significant play, most importantly inside of games. That big window really can put some decent pog mats there to deny any sort of quick entries in. I don't actually think Dino's placed one there unless I've missed it, but also even just the windows in library itself is tending to see positioning for those frost mats. So really good lineup here. Where does the Tachanka fit in though? That's the real question. I guess maybe just sitting inside of backstore.
Yeah, probably safest position. Now, for me, the key part of these lineups going head-to-head is look how many projectiles Order have, and Knights do not have Jaeger. Keep in mind, with my band, often we would see teams then lean into the Jaeger, but the fact that he is not on the board should mean Order have free real estate here. Honestly, they should be able to clear anything ahead of them with relative ease. Now, it doesn't look like they're actually going for that. Instead, posting up outside the west, Specker finds the opener there onto Josh, caught off guard. I mean, wow, they've already found 2 picks and they haven't had to burn anything yet. And honestly, if they can get library control, clear backstory out, and then they'll literally have sight for free.
Yeah, crazy start here. Not usually the way we see this kind of play out. Typically, you're going to look at that solar sweep across and then pushing into taking out these 2 shields, one at mezzanine, one top library. But if you can just kill the 2 players inside a library, it means that the defenders have to sort of reshuffle their positions. You can see sort of the way that Sage is playing now, that library hallway. He's now in a very defensive approach looking in towards library, whereas usually you would not want to be standing here expecting that push to come in through, say, piano, for example. So this is just now a sort of a rejig positioning here. It means those deployable shields probably not going to be an issue at all. And of course, now for Order, they've already established vert control above site. So Knights scrambling here. Can Sage find a kill inside a mudroom?
Good flash from Specker as he tries to enter in. Juicy does shut down Nate. I can only assume that was up above. Bailey with a shot onto Juicy as Sage gets aggressive. Now in the 1v3, taken down by Bailey. A great execute from Order off the back of a quick 2k to open up proceedings.
That was a really good round from Order. I mean, I didn't quite catch the 2 very quick kills inside a library. I'm assuming both were in library?
I'm not too sure.
Which
one was Josh Westmain. Not sure where the second was.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so I mean that's pretty much normal, right? You might have one player in library, and then you're going to have one. Maybe, yeah. I don't know. That's an interesting. That doesn't usually happen, guys. As I said, usually you go for that solar sweep across. That's the way Knights set up for it, and yet it doesn't happen that way from Order's attack. And I think it just catches them off guard a little bit, and they weren't ready for it.
Yeah, and even the solar across again. I think it would have been so strong with Jaeger not being picked by the Knights. So. Yeah, either way, it seemed to be a very risky setup from the Knights. They're again electing not to bring the Jaeger, so I can only assume they don't value it. Yeah, it was in substitute of for the Melusi, right?
No, they dropped the Mozzie and they picked up the Melusi, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe trying to deny some of that entry a little bit. I don't know. I'd love to understand the reasoning why Knights aren't bringing the Jaeger. I guess they don't want to play off this preset utility too hard. If Order do go for that solar across, though, it's going to be very, very dangerous, I think.
Yeah, and even just playing off the deployable shields, whether you're putting those ADSs in library or not, you're going to usually want to place them top library and on Chimney in the mezzanine as well. So yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from, but I guess it maybe kind of insinuates Knight's lack of emphasis on actually defending those positions, and they're more like throwaway shields in a sense, and they want to actually play off of it rather than hard hold it defensively. You can almost see it as well with the way that Knights are positioning themselves here again for this Bar Games repeat. Hayward really all the way down below in cellar, so this is, again, something different from the Knights, but how Order's going to play this, they are the ones setting the tempo. Right now, in the first, honestly, 3 rounds that have played so far, they are dictating how this game is being played. It's on their terms right now.
Yeah, the Knights, they're extending out but not investing or playing hard on that utility, as you mentioned, happy to fall off and looking to hold on to as much of the map as possible and really expand their wings. Josh, watching that trophy vault in, and Hayward down below in support. This is a good extension from the Knights, which is wasting valuable time. Already 60 seconds into this action phase, and Order are still trying to work out how they get inside of the building.
It's kind of crazy how Order can just go from 2 kills inside 40 seconds and then now struggling to, as you said, really even make a bit of a foothold here. Hayward still lurking down below. Now, Specker's got actually top of West Main stairs here to his control, and if Hayward's not careful, he could get eliminated here on the flank back, but he's going to actually push away from Specker's position. Still a minute and a half remaining, and it's certainly slow going here from Order. The one thing to note, though, of course, without those ADSs, those deployable shields will go down very quickly, which means that Order should be able to establish library control pretty early on.
Yeah, no one from the Knights, in fact, is actually playing above. We've got Dino. In fact, inside of library, but he can fall down the hatch at the side of any pressure as we approach 1 minute to go in this round. Order are going to have to be perfect with their utility. I think that's the deployable shield at top library taken off the board, but there's still 5 defenders left standing.
Yeah, obviously dealing with both of those shields with ease. Dino is going to be a big play here. Can he find a kill? In fact, actually, that shield is still up that he can play off of, but swings and whiffs. Nate gets that kill, now gives the advantage over to Order. That game's hatch is, of course, open, so now top library control fully established for Order. But Sage gets the kill on to Nate.
They don't have the diffuser. They've left it over in towards office. If Order don't know this, they've 100% lost the round.
Well, Jackdad's going back for it now, so there's still time, 25 seconds remaining. More than enough time considering they do have established above. Hayward with a very interesting Nitrocell, but no one is even remotely in the vicinity here. In fact, they've got library stairs control now as well. Sage is very low on sight over towards big window. Never mind, he's actually on the library stairs. Nika with a good headshot onto Juicy. That denies the player in backstore now, and Specker finds a kill. Suddenly time no longer an issue. Josh, though, he gets the kill onto Specker. Can't deny that plant, though. That is being stuck by Jackdad. He will convert that. Hayward now to 1 versus 3. The round will go the way of Order. They're going to go up 3-1 here on Chalet.
What an execute from Order. A clean shot from Nico to open up the round and allow that diffuser to go down. He has fallen off the board. Not sure if that was a fall off the roof to instigate that. No! It's a Frostmat up above, but Hayward's chances of winning this round still next to 0. Flashes will rain out, and he'll be seeing white. 15 seconds left on that fuse. He is forced to jump out. There's no other way to win the round, and Jack Daddy will clean it up.
Yeah, I mean, that's still pretty hilarious. Though, nonetheless, great start here from Order, 3-1. And yeah, they've looked actually quite in control here on the attack. One thing to note, though, of course, guys, Chalet, you know, usually favors the attackers, right? It's always got that emphasis that you would expect the attackers to do well. First half here for Order. They're playing into that and playing it well. It's all about how much of a lead can they establish, 4-2 versus, say, 5-1. I know it's only the 1 round of difference, but it's so big in the grand scheme of things. As we head over to kitchen dining, actually, for the first time, we'll be, I guess, expecting Knights to extend up above as they usually do. And for the first time, they are going to also get off of the Tachanka. But now on to the Alibi.
I know I mentioned this before, but I still don't understand why they're not bringing Jaeger. You can easily substitute out an Alibi or a Malusi, or even
the Frost, honestly.
For the Jaeger, so quite peculiar. Now, it is also easy to say on the flip side, well, Order haven't been clearing utilities, so why is the Jaeger mattering? Well, Order are just electing to completely ignore it. They don't need to play into it and burn out that utility. So it's kind of creating this weird environment at the moment where we're seeing Order go for these pretty strange attack patterns. And for the most part, they're actually throwing the Knights off pretty well. The last round was a little bit sketchy. If Nico didn't win that Vault fight onto backstore Juicy, then they probably wouldn't have won the round. But nonetheless, he backed himself feeling confident. And I think that really has been the name of the game so far. Order are playing their natural game for the most part. They are isolating players and acting upon intel, which is an aspect of their play that has been lacking a little bit as of recent, so it's good to see.
And I feel like right now this match of Chalet is probably the least structured match of Chalet that I've seen in a little while. Just both teams doing some little different things, little tweaks, little innovations. You know, the Tachanka play, for example, we don't tend to see that too often. Even just the positioning of the Knights, the way they're extending out, the way they're playing certain positions isn't quite necessarily the norm, and not quite working out for them either, to be completely honest. Order's actually already lost quite a lot of drones early on. They're down to just 6 remaining with 2 minutes and 15 seconds on the clock. Oof. That is so aggressive from Hayward, and he does get punished by Bailey. I think it was maybe waiting for that E1D, which does now go out. And unfortunately for the Knights, it's just been a rough night for Hayward, for Dino, and for Juicy, all 1 and 4.
And how ironic, Dev was just letting us know in the chat that he himself had a discussion with Bailey, who said the other night when he MVP'd in OCN, that match, that victory against Rhythm on this map, he didn't really want to play Finca. He actually wanted to play Zofia, and the team told him, you know, that's your job. You need to jump onto the Finca, and he didn't feel overly comfortable. But he produced results then. He's doing it once more here in APAC South. 7-1. The man is unstoppable at the moment.
Oh. Can it continue as Nico just gets lit up by Dino? And speaking of Nico, though, he finds a kill onto Josh, and he can maybe throw a frag back, and he get Dino here a bit of revenge. While he does the majority of the damage, the damage, I should say. Still, this round's going to Order quite extensively. Oh, nice. And he does. 2 kills in the round for Nico. 5 versus 2 with just a minute remaining on the clock. Knights are in shambles here in the 5th round. It's looking like a 4-1 Order lead.
They are in shambles. Sage still has control up above, but lit down to 60 HP. Juicy elsewhere needs to go huge, as I believe Sage is about to get pushed on from up above, and there we go, taken down, can fall down the hatch, but there's no opportunity for a res in this situation. Flawless? Juicy needs to fight 5, but he can't do that. Bailey to start the round, and Bailey to finish.
Starts the flawless round, ends the flawless round for Order, 4-1. This has been decimation for a team that has been struggling in this past, quite frankly, almost month. Probably more so last couple of weeks. I think they were on a 6-game losing streak at one point. That included both APAC South and the local league, OCN. This is a big, big game right now for both of these two teams. Of course, Order, an opportunity to sort of help avoid relegations, right? To put themselves in a better position moving forward. Guys, you said they're not even thinking about it. It's not even a possibility. They're playing like it right now and sort of backing up those words. And for Knights, remember, if they lose this game, they will be stuck on 3 points in the bottom 2, only above Direwolves, who are also on 3 points with 3 playdays to go. That is not good waters that you want to be in.
Yeah, it's literally opposite end of the spectrum. If Order get a regulation win and wildcard lose in an upcoming game tonight, then they'll actually have a bit of a safety net. They'll be out of the bottom 2 for the season relegations, at least temporarily. The Knights, however, they are fighting so desperately. They want to get as many SI points as possible. They're a very real possibility of making 6 Invitational 2022, but they are by no means confirmed. They need a great stage here in stage number 3. And then a good playoffs run to back that up. So a lot of pressure on the line for both teams in this game.
And this is the biggest round of them all, because as I said before, the difference between 5-1 and 4-2, night and day. A 4-2 half here, Order's attack on Chalet. You kind of sit back and you think, all right, that's not exactly otherworldly. That's not impossible. Now let's see if the Knights can do it themselves, which I think they as a team are more than capable of. Also on top of that, we're heading back to Master Office, where the Knights have had the most success. It's actually the only site they've been able to win, even though they've also attempted it. This is now their 3rd time. So They need to win this round. I think if they lose this round, this does go to 5-1, we might be looking at a very quick match here. Otherwise, 4-2, suddenly, then things are maybe winnable for the Knights. But Nate, with that opening pick onto Juicy, and that's a big one, Guz. That's the Tachanka taken off the board, and we know what value he has had on this site so far in the first 2 times we saw it.
Yeah, Juicy only going 1-6 on the scoreboard, but the amount of time he has been able to waste with his utility has just been phenomenal. And with that taken off the board, gives Order a little bit more freedom. Now Sage is going to reaggress. That's a great pick onto Nate. 1 hard breach off the board, and the diffuser is now dropped. That means one of the attackers will need to go back outside to collect it, wasting more time. But Specker on the flank watch. Oh, that was almost a kill, but Sage survives.
That could have won the round, honestly. 4 versus 3 is not impossible here for the Knights, especially with Nate taken off the board. That's one of the hard breaches gone. And honestly, on a site like Master Office, trying to open up, obviously, this Solarium wall, you generally like those X-Kairos. It's a little bit harder for the Mavericks, say, to push up and use that blowtorch. Minute and 10 seconds here. Josh still well and truly established inside a bathroom as well. 4 versus 3, not impossible here in a big round. Nate goes out, trying to push Sage back, but does not do any damage.
Josh inside of bathroom, putting up a bit of a final stand here. Needs to be very careful of pressure down below. Bailey on the vert, and now Jack Daddy up on the cross as well. Could cut off that position,
Sage!
but Sage, it's been a huge round from him so far, keeping the Knights in this one.
That was so big to try and get that pinch on site for Order by getting that kill onto Jack Daddy. That can't quite be established now. Nico just has to try and send it in along with Specker, and they're just getting lit up. Specker finds a kill onto Sage. He finds a second one onto Josh. It's a 1 versus 1. Dino and Specker, 2 players that have been around the block. In a tight 10's affair, Specker also has the diffuser in hand. Kona station's, of course, available here for Dino. We're into red time, though. Specker sends it out. One final EE1D has been deployed. Gets into position inside a bedroom. Dino inside of office. Does have a nade. Does not have a nitrocell, so he can't throw it over, but he sees that backside.
Oh, no.
He gets him away, though. Specker swings back, but he can't get the kill. For a second, the oh no went out from Guz, and it was warranted, but Dino comes in clutch, gets that counter defuse, and a much needed round win for the Knights.
Close but no cigar there for Specker. A valiant effort there in the 1 versus 1, but always going to be tricky. And the Knights, they salvage the half. A 4-2 result now. It doesn't look all that bad. It was a very precarious half for them. I still think that Order have the edge, despite Chalet maybe being a little bit more attacker-sided. I think it sets us up for a very exciting conclusion to this matchup, and at this rate, I would not be surprised if we push OT.
Well, I mean, that's definitely an early call, but I think it goes along the sentiment that I was kind of presenting in the first half, being attacker-sided Chalet, 4-2, expected kind of scoreline. Order had the opportunity for a 5-1 half, and it went down to that 1 versus 1, but nevertheless, well played from Dino. Sage, though, I think was the absolute superstar in that particular round. 2 very big kills. The first one onto Nate with the run out from Mudroom, and then from there, finding that nitrocell onto Jack Daddy. Like, that's 2 kills, but that's 2 big kills for 2 different reasons. So Sage has been by far and away the MVP here for the Knights. They're going to need him to continue to play in that manner now on the attack, especially on that Yana roll to try and open things up here for the Knights. 4-2, we go over to bar games, and, you know, it's usually pretty decent for defenders, and it looks like Order are actually going to pick that Jaeger, so you don't have to waffle on about that. They're going to play a more conventional approach, but they're also still adapting and bringing this to Chunka.
Well, it's almost the opposite end of the spectrum. Not only are they bringing the Jaeger, but they're also bringing the Aruni, so they are doubling down on projectile denial, whereas the Knights didn't bring any of it. Now, the Knights maybe just figured it wasn't as useful, or it wasn't playing into their strats, not necessarily wanting to hard-hold utility, but I don't know, I still felt on occasions it did apply more pressure to the defense than they would have liked. But either way, that's now behind us. I'm keen to see if Order do play a heavy util-based game, but it's not going to just be that. Bailey as well on the Vigil. Chalet is a great map to roam around, lurk, and find a pick or 2. Maybe he can have an impact as well.
Yeah, I still think this round is also so ultra important for the Knights to get off to a good start here in the second half. 5-2 scoreline is not going to be fun to try and claw their way back from. It also means Order at that point would only be 1 round away from an OT point, a guarantee. Hayward inside of office with a nice little hole down below to get Specker, who I think unfortunately has been picked the most amount of time so far in this match as the opening death. He has had a rough one. Still some impactful moments, though, when he has been able to stay alive. Advantage Knights, though, here. Dino with a perilous position over towards Trophy Stairs. No one there, of course, but it does mean that he can watch for any flankers or roamers that maybe are looking to relocate over to theirs. Josh with the kill onto Nico, and suddenly, Order just getting picked apart here, all offside as well, and a Bar Games defense. This is quite peculiar. Peculiar, I should say, as well. Words are hard tonight, Guz.
Yeah, Jack Daddy as well in basement as another member of the defense falls. It's been a good start here for the Knights. This round, there's to lose. Nate will likely be on site, looking to hold down the fort, and Jack Daddy is desperately trying to get back towards the side. In fact, Nate actually up above. That basically should allow the Knights to get an entry in towards this objective and get this round sealed.
Probably one of the more rounds that we've had so far that Order have really messed up here. Yeah, nice kill from Nate, but the damage has already been done. Josh was able to get the kill onto Jack Dad, and that means any comeback now is virtually impossible. This has been the most dominant round from the Knights so far, but I think Order just a little bit overzealous with their initial approach in the roam game. Although, Nate being a nuisance here from Library, and if he can create a whole bunch of 1v1s, this could still be winnable. Now, only a 1 versus 3. They know his position above, so I mean, the E1D is not going to be really all that impactful, to be completely honest. Sage will get this diffuser down, so 45 seconds remaining now for Nate to maybe, just maybe, pull off a miraculous play. If he can get another 1v1, doesn't happen. Josh, watching, waiting, finds that kill. Knights, 2 rounds in a row, slowly bringing this one back.
There was a moment, a brief moment in that plant to post plant where I thought, there's no way. Knights, remembering the last Playday, threw 5v1 on that exact same site. So, yeah, a little bit scary. And in fact, previous to that, they lost a 5v1 as well to Wildcard. So I was like, no, not again, guys. Just close out the round. And look, fortunately, they did. I think it was one way before that, though. The fact that 2 players were caught on rotations early, and then Jack Daddy's still down below in a 2v5. Order did try to expand their control of the map in a similar fashion to the Knights, in fact, but doing a much poorer job in actually applying pressure towards that attack. In fact, they were basically left to run back towards the site, bare naked almost, and just caught off guard. Like, they didn't do anything on the roam, they didn't apply any pressure. Knights still got control up above and had that vert established to hold those rotations, and it was just free pickings. They just stood there and waited, and their patience rewarded.
So 4-3 scoreline suddenly looks a lot better than 4-1, doesn't it, Gus? And how quick things can kind of turn around. Knights are very much a team that could snowball this into a heavy win, especially being on the attack. And for Order, not even going to reattempt Bar Games. They've given up on that one, heading straight over to Master and Office now for their second defensive site. See how they're going to elect to play this one out. Bringing the castle actually on Nico, the Maestro as well. No Tachanka, so a very big difference in terms of the lineup here from Order. Smoke as well.
Yeah, and I think one of the main reasons the castle's being brought here, as we can see in the prep phase, trying to nullify that cross on the double window. We saw Jack Daddy on Order's attacks just absolutely abuse that on the B-bomb site. And yes, of course, as we can see here, it can be open, but it does take a little bit of utility and a little bit more time and coordination from the Knights. So a good job to get that first barricade down. Still a second facing in towards Piano. That will need to be dealt with if they want to hold that cross. Now, Sage elsewhere getting a quick entry down below. A ping inside of Kitchen. Is the wall soft? Can Sage maybe find a kill? Misses. Elsewhere, Hayward lit up, so a lot of pressure already being applied to both teams in this round.
Yeah, not a surprise for that ping onto the player in Kitchen. Obviously, they know there's going to be a defensive player holding that vert inside a Kitchen. It's just a matter if they can use that ping to find that kill immediately. Nate with this position at Piano, though, with that shield, that's going to be difficult to dislodge him from there. Although we haven't really seen much Piano play so far in this game. We've gone now 8 rounds, and it hasn't really been a vocal point at any stage. Even Bathroom to a degree. I mean, it's been really just straight onto site here for Master Office rounds. Minute and a half remaining, though, and one thing that this Order lineup has been able to achieve is wasting a lot of time and forcing the Knights to use a lot of utility.
A bomb has been located.
Really just trying to get a gauge as to where the Knights actually want to execute from. GC does have the diffuser on the southern side of the map, so I assume that will be the entry point. They have control of library and fireplace also cut off here. And in fact, the wall has been breached. So a half-wall plant here will be on the cards here shortly for Order, or for Knights rather, and Order still with plenty of plant denial. A nitro cell in the hands of Jack Daddy, and now 2 smoke babes remaining for Nate. So this round's really going to go down to the wire.
Yeah, quite literally in terms of time. This is going to go right to the final few seconds, which is going to definitely work for Order. First gas babe from Nate. He's got 2 more in the back pocket here. I think also for the most important thing for Knights right now is establishing a player on that rappel at the big window in bedroom, which is where Hayward is currently located. There is only 1 nitro cell available for Order. That's on Jack Dad. Don't know if he's close to that window, but that's typically where you're going to see that get thrown out. Looks like he is actually pretty close there on the Quietus. The trades do now start to ring out. Actually, Juicy's in sight. He's getting that diffuser down. Hayward does find that kill onto Jack Dad, by the way, through that window in bedroom. So that was, in fact, quite impactful to get that kill, to stop him from being able to go over and help. And suddenly, Order, they cannot even attempt this retake. Knights had every angle covered.
Whew. Clean from the Knights. A great entry pick there during the execute onto Nate allowed them to seal the deal. No further plant denial really available. Jack Daddy too far away. The Maestro Evilize not in great positions, and Specker, who went for a super duper long flank, wasn't fast enough and couldn't have an impact either. So great work from Knights. They had every point of interest covered. They knew exactly what they were doing when they went for that push, and they are starting to gain some meaningful momentum.
Tactical timeout has been called by Order, and it's a well-timed one as well. 3 rounds in a row now to the Knights, which does match the 3-round effort from Order, originally inside of the first half. Obviously, though, it was a 4-2 half when it was all done and dusted, which maybe now kind of shaping up might not actually be enough here for Order. And, you know, when the scoreline does get tied here, knowing that Knights get to continue attacking here in this second half, they've got a lot more opportunities to find round wins rather than Order do. Order need a win here. They need to win off of a timeout. I would love to get a statistic, and obviously this is not something that's probably easy to do, but the win rate after a timeout is called, a tactical timeout, would be really cool. I do, off the sort of gut feeling, guys, and maybe you'll have your thoughts on this, I do find the team that does call the timeout seems to usually win the round afterwards.
Well, that is the that's the idea behind the tactical timeout.
Well, you hope.
Right?
It doesn't always play out that way, though.
It doesn't. And if Order do concede the next round off the back of this tactical timeout and forfeit that opportunity to reset the match, maybe when it reaches that that break point, as Dev phrases it, if the Knights extend the lead further, then yeah, it's going to look pretty bad for them. So this is a pivotal point in the match. And on the flip side, right, even if Order do claim this round, then the Knights in response will probably take a tactical. So a difficult position, I think, that Order find themselves in. These defenses have been really, really rough. They're definitely throwing everything but the kitchen sink, really. At these setups, they're getting quite creative. They're not afraid to play off site, play aggressive, but it seems like Knights are always one step ahead. They're always ready for the setups being brought out here from Order and just shutting down that aggression. When there's any sign of it, bang, the Knights activate, and they're not allowing Order to dictate the pace.
I think a large turnaround as well has been the performance from Josh Dino since the first couple of rounds, which were being very heavily dominated by Order. And, you know, and another thing to note as well, when things weren't going well for Knights, it was mainly Sage and Sage only that was really helping them win a couple of rounds, be involved, get some crucial kills, some very important moments. Since Knights have actually started winning, Sage has got a little bit more quiet. That's to be expected with the role that he's playing, but nonetheless, it just shows sort of the Knights as a team. Sage does some things here, but then it's Josh that takes over, say, in the second half with Dino, and that's generally what the best teams will do, not necessarily rely on just 1 or 2 plays. You need all 5 to be able to be impactful. And at the moment, Knights completely setting the tone here, and the tempo well and truly on their terms.
Sage again going for a lurk entry. It seems to be the playstyle here for the Knights. A little bit risky if you lose a hard reach, but with Juicy being rock solid, it's not really that much of an issue. And Sage, one of the best fraggers in the region when he's on form, can definitely do a lot of work here on the Maverick. And already he'll be able to approach the dining wall. Now it has been electrified by the Kaid, But again, with Mav on the board, should be pretty easy to counter. In fact, I think Sage has already cleared it, allowing Juicy to come alongside at the front door and open that breach nice and early.
Jeez, there's not really much pressure at the moment from the Knights, though. They're all solar side. Nade on site. Nico holding trophy stairs.
You mean order? That's okay.
Oh, sorry, order. You know what I meant.
It was a good point. It was a good point.
Order all solar side. Knights are actually more so mezzanine side.
I think Knights can set up for an execute pretty quickly here. And they need one person up above to put pressure on the vert, and Knights can get this plant down. Nate inside of kitchen does pose a little bit of a threat, especially with those smoke babes, and Nico and Bailey in the long angle and trophy could also be dangerous. But I do think Knights are in a great position, and on top of that, they have so much time. They can work out exactly what they want to do. They still have plenty to work with.
Oh, Hayward actually finds a pick onto Bailey as well. That's not ideal. This dining plant definitely can be executed very quickly, as you said. 40 seconds remaining. Sage over towards West Main. Hayward, that is a cheeky angle. Already found one through it. Does he find another one? Sage gets tagged up. Dino actually ends up dying to Nate. That plant is now going down by Juicy. Josh gets involved inside of office with that kill onto Jack Dad, but the plant has been successful. Nate with another one. He's got 2 for the round. 3 versus 3. But look at the health of Order.
Hayward finds another one onto Nico. Nate, no smoke babes to work with. Specker on the roam. He could play the vert, but someone needs to be able to get on that diffuser.
20 seconds left. Sage, Hayward low. So is Nate. Specker and Josh, the 2 at full health. Nate actually just tags it for a little bit, the old diffuser, going for a quick counter diffuse. Josh just rushes straight into dining. Make sure that can't happen. Specker in a 1 versus 2, but he has no time here. Gets that kill onto Josh. Still well played here from the Knights, guys. They looked, again, unstoppable. They now go 4 rounds in a row. And suddenly Order probably sweating. And there you go. You don't always win the round after attack timeout.
And that puts Order in a very precarious position, yet to win a single defense here on Chalet after a great attacking half. The momentum now well and truly against them. The Knights themselves, honestly, putting on a little bit of a clinic here. These attacks have looked great. They're basically, we have, of course, the foresight and the ability to see the overhead and the outlines and everything, but it feels like the Knights are almost playing from a bird's eye perspective as well. They had a really good read on where the Order were playing. They knew they could get that plant down. They already had really great positions established to cover the trophy cross outside the window. They already had players ready deep in towards fireplace. They didn't throw away picks to Specker, who was then up above, re-aggressing. They were just playing so well. They are not giving Order anything to work off at the moment, which is making their life tough.
And of course, now if Knights do win this next round, they can secure themselves at least 1 point, being the overtime point, which they need every point that they can muster up. For all intents and purposes, they desperately need all 3. And Order would be certainly kicking themselves off a 4-1 start, now down 4-5. 4 in a row to the Knights here on the attack for Chalet. So it's why, again, and I probably say this almost once a broadcast, you don't get too excited off the back of a first half, especially on a map like Chalet, and that's why I prefaced it. You know, okay, it was Order's attacking side. And that's why I put such an emphasis on them winning that final round, to try and get that 5-1 scoreline, put that pressure right onto the Knights. You don't, it's 4-2, it's kind of par for the course, and Knights now giving you the business here. Of course, still an opportunity for Order to just turn things around. They only need the 2 rounds, of course, to at least force that OT. But Knights are just all over them.
And again, much like the previous game between Direwolves and let's keep confirm, right? Jeez, I lost my train of thought. Direwolves and Elevate, rather, sorry. Wildcard will be sitting back, hoping that Knights win this game. Order, if they win, could jump ahead of them in the overall season standings, and those relegation positions are not where you want to be. So again, if you're a wildcard fan, a wildcard player, you are really hoping that Knights get as many points here as possible, steal them away from Order, but a long way to go. Order could get themselves back into this one.
A bomb has been located.
Pivotal round. Sage getting to work on that. There's an in wall to get rid of that Kaid Claw. And successful. Good for time as well here, the Knights. That means the Selma charges can go out from Juicy. They got full library hallway control as well. Haven't been able to clear the player inside of Piano though just yet. Still, Knights, you would think from here, looking pretty good. And once again, very little pressure from Order. Order again, very much sitting over towards this Solar side and just allowing the Knights to get full control. No real pressure applied on the Knights.
Question for me is how will Order deny this plan if they can't deny entry in towards the site? Last time Nate got slapped in the face, and from that point onwards, Knights were able to easily win the round. With that Piano deployable shield taken down, Nate's position is only exposed further. This is going to be tough for Order to hold on. Yeah,
and Jack Dad's the only one with the Nitrocell as well. So in terms of that sort of like half-wall plant, if that is going to be the play here as the Gas Babe insinuates there from Nate, trying to buy a bit of time with 30 seconds left. Jack Dad's probably not in the best position right now, although he can kind of rotate very quickly. Sage is the key player here. If he can stop that... Oh, it actually throws it out right there at that big window from Bedroom, so no more Nitrocell available for that half-wall plant, which was being actually going down at that moment. 10 seconds left, E1D.
Ooh.
Jack Dad wins that fight, though, onto Sage. That allows that rotate in that position now to be established for Order, and they will capitalize quite extensively. In fact, the Knights' attack has finally come undone. Order with a much-needed round win.
Now, we didn't see it on cam, but I think that Nate was the key pivotal player in that round. Yes, of course, he led up the kill feed late, but if I'm not mistaken, Jake, Knights attempted the plant at least once there, right? While we had that action downstairs. I'm 99% sure they did, and I can only assume he was taking damage from a smoke babe. That forced him off. Then Knights had to reset, try and go for it again, but with that great intel from Bailey on the Maestro, as well as those crosses being held and the good swing from double window, it was impossible for the Knights. So some really great counter aggression there from Order. They got in the face of their opponents. They weren't backing down without a fight. They didn't allow them to manipulate the map like they have been in some of those other attacks. So a really, really, really critical response. And yeah, round 11 when the scores are tied, always exciting. Whoever wins this will confirm OT.
I think that's probably been the one weakness of Knight's attack, has been that master bedroom window and being able to hold that position to deny any sort of cross. I think twice that we've seen it sort of be highlighted, Order have been able to kill that player pretty easily. And that's so big late in the round. If Sage ends up getting that kill onto Jack Dad, suddenly he's able to play that window position late into the round, watch the cross, make sure it's a little bit harder for the players from Order to really contest that, that counter defuse retake scenario. Didn't play out, of course, for the Knights, but I mean, they'd won 4 rounds in a row. At some point, you got to sort of just throw your hands in the air and give one over to Order. And so far, Master Office, guys, is the only site both teams have been able to defend. That's now 3 rounds defended successfully on Master Office. That also means that Order are not going to get Master Office again for the rest of this second half. They will need to win on bar games and kitchen dining if they're going to send this to OT. Is that possible?
Well, that's to win those two sides if they want to win in regulation.
Yeah, if they want to win it. If they want to win it, they need to win both of them. At least one if they want to send it to OT.
Yeah, a lot of pressure riding on this one. I'm just going to have a quick look actually at the map feed. I want to see who's starting out on what side if it does end up going to OT. Having a look now, the Knights will start attacking in overtime. And if Order only have one strong defensive side and we end up somehow managing to go all the way to overtime, I mean, if they only have one side, that's unlikely, but it does give the Knights the slight edge here. So yeah, the job is far from over here for Order. Once again, leaning in to the Aruni and the Jaeger, so a lot of projectile denial. They're not electing to play the Vigil Roam, but Jack Daddy still down in basement. Now, he didn't get to have the impact he would have liked last time because of the fact that everyone got picked apart. Now, the reason Jack Daddy's playing that position down below is he can get a long angle all the way up through the floor, looking into Office. I'm 99% sure that's what he did last time in OCN, so hopefully we get a look at that if he can reproduce it.
Pivotal round to get at least OT secured, to get at least 1 point secured here for bar games, which has just been seeing some interesting innovation this game. Both teams. Ooh. Dino. Actually didn't end up doing any damage there, but still gives away his presence over towards West Main.
That player's pinned, surely. I don't know who it is, but able to fall down the hatch. Really great work there. I'm assuming Jack Daddy came along and opened that. Or Nico could open it himself. He's a Rooney. Yep. Wow. Really well played. And Dino will be seething.
Yeah, that's a bit of time wasted as well. Perfectly played, really, from Nico, and understanding what he can do to sort of get out of that situation. Jack Dad's going to get droned out here and still just trying to hold this position, but this is, again, just time wasted and perfectly played so far from Order. Knights, though, won't be counting them out yet. More than capable of finding a few kills, and if they can't get this kill onto Jack Dad, will hinder this defense slightly. He is one of their 2 Nitrocell players as well. What is that angle? Woo! Oh, he's trying to flush him out through the drone hole, I think, but Jack Dad swings from blue, gets that kill. This is a little mini game that Order are absolutely demolishing Knights at. Juicy on site, though, inside of Bar. Does have Diffuser, no longer. Nico with the kill. They've got absolutely so many weird angles established. Knights had no idea what's hit them in this round. Order are going to get match point. They had a bit of a fall and a tumble in this match. Guys, they lost 4 rounds in a row, but they have fought back late in this second half, winning 2 rounds in a row and now establishing match point and an opportunity to get all 3 points and second place on the line here in this next round. That was such a good round from Order that even shocked Guz into DCing, apparently. So there you go. There you have it. We're going to head over to Kitchen Dining for what is going to be our final round of the second half. Knights, of course, must win it to at least send it to overtime. They cannot get all 3 points anymore to the maximum if they can win OT from here. For Order, though, if they can close it out in this round, all 3 points would see them just completely leapfrog this 6-point logjam that has been established here in APAC South all the way up into second place. And I heard that my wonderful friend with the CD Mo is back.
I don't even know what happened. I could see and hear everything that was going on, so not too sure what happened there. But yeah, what a great round from Order. And that was really the definition of just digging deep, right? They knew they had to step up. They didn't throw away picks like last time, and they were able to put on a display of that setup, and what a setup it was. Knights well and truly sucked into it. That basement hold was really, really well played into by Order. So many angles, so much utility that had to be manipulated by the Knights. They struggled. They looked super duper uncomfortable when taking that on. They completely fell apart. Now Order just need to win one more round for the full 3 points. As I mentioned earlier, wild card will want Knights to push this all the way to OT. Direwolves as well wanting Order to get as few points in this matchup as possible. But what a banger it has been so far, and it feels like we might just go to overtime. I don't know, I'm just getting that feeling.
Can Order get all 3 points? What a story. What a stage it's been for Order. Talk about up and down, but this would be the biggest swing upwards in terms of trying to avoid relegation and placing in the top 4 to make the playoffs. And it would put them on 7 points. It would, of course, cause that storyline for the Knights. If they lose this, what are the odds that they can somehow crawl their way back to a playoff position? It would be almost impossible. They must win this round. They have to win this round. And even 1 point's probably not really a success from this game. They need at least the 2 to take something from this game. But at this stage, you would even just take the 1, as Juicy's had a rough one, 3 and 10.
6 invitational implications on the line here for the Knights. Hayward, shots rain out. Oh, could have potentially found a player there on the vert. But not to be. Order looking relatively comfortable up above at the moment, but I think the Knights want to change that. Specker has a shield to play off inside of Piano. Office wall open. Bailey holding that position. Jack Daddy as well in support. The Knights in response will send out drones, and once again they will see that site is clear. This is a very, very similar way to how it played out last time. Remember, Knights got in, got that plant down. Order with very poor denial and inability to rotate back towards the site, lost the round. How will Order change it up this time?
Nate's been pinged down. He's under a bit of pressure here. Needs a bit of help. Throws out his final gas babe. And he's done that pretty early on in the round with 45 seconds remaining. Nico, though, with a big shot onto Hayward. He's taken down. So is Josh. It's falling apart here for the Knights. It's falling at the seams. But Sage, he's switched on here late in this round. They always need him at his best. He's now got a third. The plant goes down. He's covering perfectly. Dino is. Jack Dad, though, finally shuts down Sage. But maybe the damage has already been done. 1 versus 2. Jack Dad with no nitrocell, barely any health at all whatsoever. Goes over to the mezzanine, drops down, he gets shut down. The Knights will send this one to overtime.
Deep breath for the Knights and their fans. What a round that was. A great execute. They sent it deep, even in the face of aggression there from Order, who were desperately trying to stop them from getting boots in towards that objective, but Sage just too strong. He is on a heater at the moment. He's in great form, showing it when it really matters. Those are the rounds where it really does matter. The context of the match is everything. Sure, you do that in the first round, no one remembers it. Do it on a pivotal one like that, and you'll be hailed a hero. Again, the 6 invitational implications for matches like this are huge. The Knights have started off this stage incredibly poorly. They need to make it to the playoffs bare minimum to be any chance of 6 invitationals. So matches like these where they should be getting points are big. Now, they can't get 3, but heading it to OT means that they might be able to scrape 2.
So it was a 4-2 opening half to Order and a 4-2 second half to the Knights. This has been heavily attacker-sided. Only 4 defensive rounds won from both teams. As we head into overtime, Order on the defense. If they can win here, then going into the attack, maybe you would give them favor. Bar Games is the play. Deployable shield already top of library stairs. Pretty similar setup to how we've actually seen this already played out. Order ended up actually successfully defending Bar Games, by the way, earlier on. And for the Knights, so far, the only site they have been able to successfully defend is Master Office. So Order, definitely a chance here, a bit of a shout. And if they can win this, of course, then gives them 2 more opportunities to close out with match points.
Now, I've actually just seen some of the stats run in terms of the 6 invitational quals. I'm just going to get them up quickly now. And based on the stats I have available to me, apparently, so take this with a grain of salt because I'm not the one that ran these calculations, but Elevate is confirmed for season 2022. So I assume that means for APAC South, but we kind of knew that. We ran with that story. Now, Knights... Oh, Sage finds the open. Knights need 2 points in this game to be confirmed for the APAC League. So again, keep in mind that we're talking about 6 invitational, but if you want to take it back a step further, Knights aren't even confirmed for APAC next year. That's just how close this is. 2 points in this matchup, however, will confirm that.
How could Knights play off of this man advantage? Nico's been playing amazingly as well this game. In fact, it's a very spread match from Order. 10, 10, 10, and 10. Specker being the one on 6. Sage has been by far and away the standout, though, when it comes to clutch moments. Minute 40 remaining. Knights, can they find yet another round win and establish their own match point for the first time in this particular game? It's a possibility, especially with this man advantage. Still need to clear Specker at top library stairs and Bailey as well over at that chimney position. And those ADSs will buy some time. Sawyergate as well. Minute 20.
And the key difference here in this round is Knights are not attacking basement at all. They are not contesting that setup from Jack Daddy. Now that could prove costly. They can't really open that office wall, but Sage, nonetheless, is going to push up. That shield is still standing. Sage is in a really precarious position, decides to back off. Probably the smart play there, as Specker likely would have had a free kill, but there is pressure elsewhere. Juicy gets a pick. Jack Daddy to trade 1 back. 3 versus 3.
Just under a minute left. Jack Daddy with some big clutch kills there in that situation. Dead set makes this a very nerve-wracking time if you're an Order or a Knights fan. Match point on the other side. Diffuser still on the ground. Just under 40 seconds remaining. Bailey, can he play off of that with the Nitrocell? It's information. Hayward, though, straight back into Piano. Gets away, Guz.
They need to get that diffuser. Bailey's done a really good job to reposition to try and deny it. Collecting that will be tough for the Knights. Oh, maybe not. What was that?
Big shot, big moment from Hayward. Gives Knights back the advantage. Sage, though, gets tagged up as he's trying to get onto site and plant this diffuser. Specker has only had 6 kills all game, but he gets a much-needed 7th. Plant is down, 2 versus 2 here in overtime. Sage, the planter, turns into the fragger once again. Josh, though, is the one who got the kill. Sage started it all. Jack Dad, Nitrocell, well placed, finds the kill onto Sage. 3 for the round, needs the quad and the counter defuse to win the round here for Order.
Sweaty palms for Jack Daddy. Oh, Josh has been spotted on the default. Jack Daddy needs to immediately go and find this kill as the fuse ticks down, but Josh, with so much confidence, will back away. Jack Daddy jumps onto the diffuser. He needs to stick. 3 seconds left as Josh rounds the corner, misses the shot. Can he find it? He does. Oh, it was close, but the Knights secure the round.
What do they say? Pros don't fake, and honestly, that was a time where you didn't even have the opportunity, even if you wanted to. Match point established for the Knights. Overtime match point it is, but still match point nonetheless. What a match this has well and truly turned out to be, guys. It's had just about everything that you could ask for.
I still remember when we were joking in the green room before this game. You know, rest of the night, let's have some quick 7-0s. You know, go to bed early. Been a bit of a long night already, but wow. Honestly, now that we're here, I am loving this. This has been such a great game of Shallow. And I said in that call in the post-play last night, sweaty palm stuff for the lads in the server. I mean, even I'm starting to sweat up. This is getting really intense, and it's just such a big matchup. The Knights, if they win this next round, they secure their APAC position for next year. They also greater their chances of making the playoffs. Order, they are right in the midst of fighting for their very spot in the league as well, but in a different way. They are right down the bottom. They need to produce a response here in this round.
Well, Knights on the defense, though, of course, now for Order. They get an opportunity on the attack once again. They haven't done it for quite some time. It was all the way back in round 5 that they won their last attacking round, and obviously now into round 14, so it's been a little bit of time between drinks here for Order in terms of attacking. Are they going to still have that attacking prowess that they had in the opening half where they were very successful? But this particular site, guys, Master Office, it was played 3 times in the first half, won twice defensively from the Knights. Order only got it once. Seemingly here for the Knights, they'll back themselves in once again. Same setup as well, same lineup completely. Josh, though, with an early Nitrocell that does go a little to waste. But Order definitely up against it here.
A bomb has been located.
Nico on the solar rappel, 2 grenades in hand, might be able to clear some utility. Oh, we'll jump out early from the Knights. Spotted, I believe it was Sage, as Jack Daddy will deploy 1 air jab just to protect that mudroom run out. If Sage rather elects to re-aggress. Order shaping up for this solar take. That's where the diffuser is. I can only assume that's where Order will pour their resources into. Again, the Knights, they're not playing Jaeger, they're not playing into util. In fact, no one's even playing on that solar side of the map at the moment. The Knights heavily contesting the southern side. I expect rotations to come out eventually. And look at Order, they've basically, I believe, droned ahead. I don't think Jack Daddy's drone was down below. I think that was on the objective floor. They should have a pretty good read as to how much ground they can take.
Minute and a half remaining. Still 5 versus 5 probably plays into the hands of Knights. Still have 2 Nitrocells available through Hayward and Sage. Specker doesn't take the shots, but gets information nonetheless for Order. Still 3 Adrenal Surges and an EE1D available after this one does finalize. Flash goes out from Specker, but it's not going to do anything to deter the position of Juicy on that Tachanka. He's going to be very difficult to displace and very impactful late in this game.
Yeah, Juicy's been pretty quiet on the scoreboard, but he could have a big impact in terms of his utility usage here. How much time can he waste? Auto only have 50 seconds available. Josh repositions inside of Bathroom, and Juicy, that's his impact being felt. Bailey able to drone ahead. That could be critical information. Knows there's one in the hot tub. And that really, again, places the emphasis on Juicy. He himself has been droned, and Bailey could get a huge grenade to open up this round for Auto.
It's only 30 seconds remaining though here. They got to get a move on. They can't spend all their time worrying about the position.
Oh, no.
Juicy from above finds the kill onto Bailey. It's falling apart here at the seams for Order. Knights, they allowed this one to get to overtime, but ever since then have been firmly in control. Nico finally deals with Juicy. There's a second through
Ooh,
Nate, but still advantage for the Knights. 2 versus 3 into red time. Nico with that diffuser. He tried to stick it for a second. Oh, Sage gets that kill. That diffuser's not going to go down. Jack Dad's the last one. He can't do anything. No time, no chance. Knights will secure the 2 points for, well, Knights, I guess. Still, what a game. Hard-fought victory sums it up perfectly, guys. Knights were pushed to the limits by Order, but they come away with 2 points.
The Knights proving that they can dig deep when required. This was a challenging match for them. Order pushing them all the way to the very end, but key players from this roster stepping up throughout. Sage having a massive match, and Juicy, again, not posting huge numbers on the scoreboard, but his impact felt throughout, and that last round in particular,